Gather, my chosen, and heed the call to a saga of adventure, a song to end all. Forged from the cord, two worlds given birth, one made of awesome, the other no worth. Mutilated, abused, the cord was unstrung. When Daimler was shaped, a gray waste begun. Born of the remainder, its fate was unbound. A land of pure metal, the glorious sound. Rise, find your glory. Rise and be free upon the fields of Ragnarok to victory. The gods of metal cry out, demanding blood, sweat, and fear. Seek treasure, find glory, pay tribute for all to hear. Faith must be proven in the pits of these lands. Your songs must rise above as the chosen form bands. Immortality awaits those avatars who believe. With blade, steel, and destiny, what tales shall you weave? Rise, shed your shackles, rise and be free. Deep in the halls of Ragnarok, ascend to victory! Ragnarok.
Hello everybody, what's up? I'm Ann Richmond, aka Hearthsinger, the head bard in charge right here at Hearthsinger Games, and today I am getting into something I have been excited about as soon as I saw the press release, because today we are diving into character creation for the brand new epic metal fantasy tabletop RPG Gods of Metal Ragnarok. And it's now on Kickstarter. I just threw the link in the chat, so make sure you go over there to check it out. We just saw the trailer, which is, it gets me going, guys. What can I say? Because the art is just so indicative of this place that we're going to be adventuring to. And that has a lot to do with art director and new friend, Caleb Cleveland. What's up, Caleb?
What is up? Thank you so much for inviting me, Ann. This is going to be so much fun. I mean, sorry. This is going to be metal. I can't wait. Let's shred some art. It's going to be great.
Let's shred art is the new hashtag shred art in the chat for sure. What's up, McClure? What's up, Surprise? What is up, Raz Kataz? What's up, Know It All? Thank you for that sub. We are so excited to hang out with you guys today and build a character in this new RPG. Now, Caleb, how's it going? I mean, this campaign has already been going for a week, and you guys funded very quickly, but now you're headed for the hills, those stretch goals.
Well, the stretch goals were it was all about. The game is, of course, the main course is what it's all about, and you summed it up beautifully and very articulately. The game is essentially an anything you want kind of salad bar style role-playing game where you basically, your life is garbage and you are summoned into another realm where you can live out every kind of adolescent fantasy of fighting evil, dominating the world with your amazing rock, or just slaying lots and lots of goblins. It's literally anything you want it to be. And as long as it's metal, as long as it's metal. And yes,
I think one of the things we were talking about before we got started is, like, if you are a metal fan, there are so many things to look forward to in these stretch goals, because Ivan Van Norman, who this is really his baby, I would say, primarily, that he's been developing with Hunters Entertainment, which is his company. It's really meant to be a multimedia experience. That's right, correct?
Yeah, the whole idea was that it wasn't just going to be a game. It was going to be something that you could listen to in many, many ways. You could experience in many ways. The first thing that Ivan really wanted to do was try and build this sense of legitimacy behind the game by actually inviting metal bands to create an LP, to create a soundtrack for the game. We've got the amazing Residrone, who is he's a major tabletop role player anyway, and he is they did a bunch of the work behind Cyberpunk 2077, right. And but we also have some tried and true amazing metal like landmarks and just pure true gods of metal like Anthrax. And not just from this side of the world either, from the other hemisphere. We've got Bloodywood. We've got this whole range of different beautiful and really boisterous and loud examples of what makes metal so fun. And it's all going to be part of this experience. We've got statues of the gods of metal themselves that have been meticulously detailed. They're going to be available as STLs that you can download and 3D print. We're looking to have votive candles that are dedicated to each of the gods of metal.
Nothing's more metal than a votive candle.
Nothing. Absolutely. I mean, seriously, you're absolutely right. I mean, send the tribute to the metal gods in the most metal way possible, which is, a quiet, meditative, corner of your bedroom with some votive candles.
Can be. Listen, me time is the most metal thing in the world.
Absolutely. Little cup of chamomile, some votive candles, and some Megadeth or a Slayer. Absolutely. Or Ghost, whatever your flavor is.
There's no wrong way to metal as long as it's extreme, but not setting your house on fire.
You got to melt faces. That's too extreme.
Yeah, it's very true. So guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into the character design for this game, and I've already read a bunch of the rules. We're gonna go through the choices. I have some idea of what I'm doing, and Caleb and I talked a little bit about the style in general, and some of you guys are gonna call me a poser, and that's okay. But I'm leaning in to glam metal because that's what I want to do, and I'm a bard. And you can't tell me what to do on my own channel.
Nothing's more metal than just doing your own thing and not listening to anybody else. So if you want to empty like 6 cans of Aquanet, put on some lip gloss and some eyeshadow and some studded leather, some heels, whatever you want to do, you fly that freak flag as high as you
Absolutely.
Want. Just.
And you guys should be able to do little character creation along with me. So I want to hear, what you guys would want to choose, what you guys want to make. And yeah, absolutely, Kanani. That's not metal.
It absolutely can be.
It absolutely can be. So live your effing
Nothing's more
life.
metal than Shakespeare.
Nothing is more. That is very true. So yeah, grab a pen and paper. Let's make the most epic metal fantasy characters we can. So the thing that we start with, and Caleb mentioned it briefly at the top of the show, is that we need to make characters from Mundania. The whole kind of premise that this world sits on is that we have the world that everyone lives in, all these mortals live in, and it is boring and terrible and oppressive and the worst. And so oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you absolutely said it. It's the worst. You're absolutely right.
It's absolutely the worst. So if you have a dramatic, epically tragic backstory, throw it out the window. We're not going to need it today. It's time to create a character who is being crushed by their entirely ordinary life. So someone who wishes they could maybe rip the face off of a supervising manager that they hate or soar over traffic on their morning commute. People who just are at their breaking point is really what we're creating. So that's where you start. You create your origin. Now, what are some ideas people have for origins? Because I have a couple. I'm going to throw them out there, and then in chat, if you guys have questions about origins or how you want to crush a person in your mind, please feel free to share those. One is a woman maybe who's being crushed by the pressures of her modern office, which is a line from The Office that never. It's like someone who has to give like HR speeches in an office and just never has me time. Never seems to get the promotion she's after or do what she wants to do. Maybe a single parent with like a ton of responsibilities. Customer service rep always comes to mind. What are your thoughts about super normal, awful lives, Caleb?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm one of these guys that has had a lot of former lives. I worked in customer service. I've done, rental, moving trucks rather. I've worked for, world-spanning coffee empires. I've sold carpet. I've worked in theater. I've worked in video games. I've worked in furniture design. Basically, every job ever nobody likes, and that's the idea here. Your mundanian persona is somebody who's been crushed by the man, and you need to figure, or whatever. Gender you prefer, and the idea is that there's something about the world, the society that just drives you crazy and makes you want to lash out or become, there's a conflict that you want to either run away from or confront, and the whole idea behind it is to sort of like that conflict, that raging. That is, consuming your heart. Sorry, it's my minor earthquake as my phone drops. The whole idea is that is what summons the powers that be to come and pull you through the veil into the realm of Ragnarok. So customer service rep works.
Customer service rep works, and I have been that, but maybe the most crushed I ever was in my life was waiting tables in New York City. So I think here's where I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
I have a whole plan. I was gonna say a barista, but I'm gonna say like whatever this world's equivalent of the Outback Steakhouse is. Like a bartender at the Outback Steakhouse. So like a huge food chain restaurant who never has time for their fashion design anymore because of the pressures of mounting bills.
They just want to work on their art.
Yeah, they just want to work on their art, but they can't, and it's getting further and further away. And I hate that. I hate the idea of it. I've been there, and I don't like it, and so I feel that resonates with me. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to say a server at a just really busy Midtown Mundania chain restaurant defaulting on student loans. So that's our origin. Let's come up with a super normal name. Okay, I've already thought about the last name. I think it's going to be Kingsley because fashion made me think of Miranda Priestley from Devil Wears Prada. So and we're going to name her Marsha Kingsley. That's her name. It's super normal. And like no one
Marsha Priestley. Yeah. Oh, Kingsley.
Marsha Kingsley, the off-brand version of Miranda Priestley. I literally have only watched that movie one time in my life, and it is emblazoned on my very soul. Thank you so much, Octopus, for that follow. Welcome to the Baby Bards. We're getting into Gods of Metal Ragnarok. All right, so
the name of the restaurant is the Outhouse Steak Place.
That's perfect. This is great. Why are you not always here when I have to do this?
I'm a dad, so my sense of humor is broken. So I'm just here to do terrible puns and draw. That's it.
It's so good. It's so good. My father is here in chat, I believe. So he'll appreciate.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I feel so supported. This is why I am not about to break, because I have the best dad in the world. But we also know that the job is a server, so that's the next thing. So you want your origin, including your name, your job, your tedium, So what keeps you down and makes your life hell? Mounting defaulting student loans and expensive living in a big city is my tedium and suffering. My righteous cause. Okay, so here's where it gets a little wacky. So this is the one thing that you as your character, that you and your character, your avatar in Meadowland, in Ragnarock, this is what you're going to have in common. If you did have power and control over your life, how would you use that power? So good examples might be bring noise to the silence, punish the wicked, eat the rich. What are other good righteous causes, Caleb, that you could think of?
Well, you could always just sort of like there's, I think you said punish the wicked, but there's also like bring the righteous, or be, you know, there's always basically anything you can think of to sort of just rage against the powers that be. That's you know, that's what your righteous cause is. And we've got like a whole laundry list of different righteous causes that you can pick from. But to be honest with you, if you can think of something that's just as metal, then go for it. But the idea is that that is your drive, right? That's your heart's desire for your character. And, you know, whenever you feel like, I don't know what my character would do, remember your righteous cause. Because that's what got you pulled you into Ragnarok.
We've got some incredible righteous causes in chat that I just want to go over. One of them is get people not to eat meat. That's not exactly the the action, the noun, the action, the noun phrasing, but you could say punish the meatitarians. You could say
you could be like carnivorous, more like carnivorous. How about that?
Oh, yeah. There's also feed the hungry is totally a righteous cause, chat.
Yes.
Gum on the sidewalk removal, probably not a righteous cause. What about clothe the worthy?
Clothe the worthy. Okay, so make sure it's kind of like you're a Robin Hood. You know, your idea is that you will destroy. You'll burn down the billionaires, take their stuff, and make sure and just like distribute it like the most heavy metal of all Bernie Sanders there ever were.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Like, I'm thinking about the fact that this person's like desire in life was to be a fashion designer, and the fact that like all of that is taken from them, but they were probably like doing high art in art school, you know, when they went to school for it. It's like, you know, you want to unclothe the worthy is definitely another one, Caldefron. But yeah, or unclothe the unworthy rather. Yeah, I think clothe the worthy is like you're not worth my medal is kind of the vibe I'm going for here. So cool. So clothe the worthy. If you think that's metal enough, Caleb, I think that's what we'll go with.
Well, the idea is that you're going to distribute, especially like clothes, but like any sort of riches, especially clothes, to, or maybe you have like an accessory that can help create clothes or outfits.
We're going to get into position, which I think will help us dig into how exactly that will enact itself. Let's see. The position might be coming. First we have to choose a tone. Okay, so here's where it's gonna get crazy. So first of all, let me have you now tell me about, have you guys been, while I fill in my character sheet here, tell me a little bit more about, like, have you play tested this game? What's been fun about the development of the game, I guess?
Well, yes, I have play tested the game several times. My character's name was Chunthor the Ever Weeping.
Incredible.
Thank you. That's his Ragnarok persona, though. Back in the world of Mundania, which is the place that, you know, sucks, of course, because it just does. His name was Chad Hunt. He worked at Cockbluster Video, because it still exists in Mundania, and he basically, and he, you know, his drive, his righteous cause was to basically to punish the wicked. When he was pulled through, he decided that his position was going to be that of a blood guard. So he's going to be sort of like kind of like a temple priest of the gods of Ragnarok, kind of like a cleric.
Okay.
But of course, more bard than cleric, as all the positions are. And his tone, let me see if I can think of it. It's escaping me, of course. Let me see if I can grab my handy dandy mother box here and pull it up.
So let's talk about
Thor.
tone while you're finding Chunthor's whole backstory now. So the tone in Ragnarok is really the equivalent of choosing a race or an ancestry in another tabletop RPG. So it doesn't have a cosmetic value though, and that's the coolest part about this game. You can be a sentient object if you want that to be how your avatar exists in Ragnarok. So you can really go wild, and that's one of the things I love most about it. But
absolutely, you can be a sentient kitchen appliance if you want to. No, you absolutely can.
What's more metal than baking?
Absolutely not.
The metaliest baking.
So your tone has to do with the. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But is this okay? I don't mean to.
Yes,
be
please.
lame.
No, take this as a conversation.
So the tone has to be about who your sort of your patron or matron god is, the god of metal. So it depends on just what your character likes about metal. In this case, Chad is a super gothy, emotional, just a pure sad sack. So of course his tone was in service of Calamity, which is the patron god of just pain, but pain with a purpose. There is a little bit of sadism or masochism in there, but the idea is that you use it to imagine Calamity as like the most anime of all vampire princesses or princes, David Bowie in Labyrinth on steroids, and that is Calamity sitting in their skull throne, perpetually, with heavy worries upon their brow, or maybe they're exulting in the delight and the awareness, the evolution that suffering and pain can bring others, or that you experience the enlightenment you get by making others pay. So that is so nothing's Plus they're very sad all the time. So there you go. They're very mopey.
They're very sad.
And that's Calamity.
Fantastic. Now you guys are going to see these different gods from the pantheon of Ragnarok kind of on the screen. I just pulled those up. Who did these posters?
That is Joby Dor, who is. Let me see if I can find their Twitter for you. Joby Dor was this artist that we sort of found. It was actually on a Discord, on Art Discord, that just did this amazing job. Followed the art briefs beautifully and gave it as much metal, ridiculous Boris Vallejo, Frank Vizetta feel as I asked him to bring to it. So they did an amazing job.
Cool.
You can find them as jobydor.com, DOR.
Okay, awesome. Now let me ask you, when it comes to the difference in art we see here. What's up, Trix? Welcome. We've got lots of artists in chat today, which is awesome. So when it comes to giving direction for, the vibe that you want this game to have, you have this, but you also have the trailer that we watched earlier, which is very much like, the metal you feel when you're in middle school and high school and you're like drawing in the, corners of your notebook and things like that. So what is the direction you give to keep it all in world?
That's it. We look at the art that inspired us when we were adolescents. Boris Vallejo, Frank Frazetta, Julie Bell. We look at all these amazing comic artists and album artists that have created these magnificent pieces of just pure lollipop flavored fantasy art with gorgeous rainbow colored cloud in the background, planets floating everywhere, scantily clad men, scantily clad women, fighting gigantic green apes and things like that, riding a lizard. That's exactly what we were going for as far as like some of the more polished ones, but we wanted to make sure that it was seen through the filter of something that is it's meant to be an adolescent fantasy. The idea is that you have to be able to have the mind of a somebody who's young and is vibrant and wants to rage, that wants to see evil punished, and or wants to, or at the very least just wants to rock the hell out. And
Totally.
yeah, and we just wanted to make sure that that sort of we didn't want it to be too polished. We wanted it to be boisterous. We wanted it to be fun, and we wanted it to look I guess kind of impromptu. And nothing's more impromptu than just grabbing a piece of graph paper and just drawing a giant skull lizard, and saying this is my new best friend, and that's what Ragnarok is all about. This is me.
So let's talk about those tones, right? Because we've been looking at these beautiful pictures of all of the different, I believe it's 6 different gods that you could potentially align yourself. But there's also, just in case people are curious, the option to be unaligned, which is the most metal thing you could do. Say, fuck,
or you want to make
your
exactly, or you can say fuck the gods, or if you want to make up your own god, if you're like, look, my guy is metal. Yes, he's angry. He wants to rage against the machine, but he wants to do it with a trumpet, so he's ska. And we can be like, awesome. Yeah, well, you know what? My guy, he has a harmonica. He's all blues. Do it.
Totally.
Or maybe he just does, or maybe you don't want to do anything at all that has anything to do with music, and you just literally want to be like Death Dealer from any number of one of those Frank Frazetta paintings, and you can do that too. You can literally just be like an angry guy with a helmet and an axe, who just really likes hanging out with these giant band nerds all the time.
It's just Bill says, Ska Against the Machine is my next band.
Ska Against the Machine. I'm writing that down.
And surprise is Mum, who did all the fantastic art for the emotes on this channel, and we love a Mum, says, my god is the-eye Dorito. Which is a reference to a game we play a lot on this channel called the Blackout Club, which has a lot of different kind of a big pantheon of gods that whisper in the minds of children, which is a pretty metal thing, but a very different vibe. So let's talk about these different people.
Or else we will have none of it.
Exactly. Let's talk about Diomedes. So Diomedes' purview is you know your roots and don't see any reason to stray from what works. So that's the ultimate true to yourself. You must be true to yourself. God, I feel.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And then we have Fenrir. You know that strength comes in the form of a broken decibel meter. It's something I'm very familiar with personally. Just... I feel personally attacked by myself right now.
Your gain is glorious. Well done. Yeah. So
Calamity.
Diomedes is all about glory and tradition, and Fenrir is all about standing in the mosh pit and taking everything you've got and funneling it into your rage. Taking every swing, every pummel, and just either standing there and absorbing it, and then letting it all out. That's Fenrir.
Excellent. And then Calamity, who we already talked about, again, as a reminder, the need to live in constant emotional pain me, and you also get bonuses based on these different gods. So Diomedeus's is you get an extra ability. Fenrir's bonus is +1 to attack, which makes a lot of sense. Calamity is 1 defense. And then the next person we're going to talk about is Shrika. You don't need to be the best, but you need to look the best doing it. Who gets +1 to exposure. Tell me about Shrika.
Shrika, now, just so you know, all these gods, we call them gods, but they're really just sort of deities. They have no gender.
Right.
You know, Shrika is one of these ones in particular that can go any way you can think of. The way that the poster is sort of depicting them is like this crazy glam rock harpy slash goddess with a very sort of visual key kind of Japanese sort of vibe. I don't know, very glam rock, very 80s.
Yeah.
And they are literally turning into a big glowing purple panther. So
Yes,
it's literally
everything.
all about it's about it's basically about spectacle over substance, and it's literally about the show is everything. Do nothing unless it is glamorous. It is, you must embrace what is wild and what is untamed. Always be unpredictable. Be wild like the panther, but be cool like a piece of hardened steel, and be glamorous like like any sort of Lisa Frank sticker slash Trapper Keeper. So literally, that's it.
Into this.
Lisa Frank is probably one of the unsung rock gods in Ragnarok.
I love Lisa Frank.
Praise to Lisa Frank. So there we go. All praise Lisa Frank.
Kekatari, did I say that right?
Kekatari. Kekatari is literally it's about speed, wind, travel. It's literally it's about shredding. Is what Kekatari is all about. They are the god with 1,000 hands, as you can see here.
Yeah.
So if you are all about DPS, if you are about speed over everything else, if you want to be a rogue, or if you just want to be the fastest, doesn't mean the best, it means the fastest. Mm-hmm. Then totally. Kekatari is where you are at. Strike like lightning and then disappear. No, that's it. That is Kekatari in a nutshell.
And you get a bonus of +1 to speed, which makes sense based on what you said. Then we have Aznubaba, which you want to build the world up so you can watch it burn, and you get +1 to your feedback threshold.
That's it. It makes you a little tougher. It's not defense. It just means, when you roll the dice, and all the dice in Ragnarok are D4s. That's one of the
most metal of dice.
Well, literally, because the dice we actually have with the game are made out of zinc. It's a real metal. And they hurt like hell. Let me tell you. They will damage your table, but that's metal. And Aznubaba is literally sort of like the nihilist god. They are the beginning, the end. Build it up to watch it burn. Give it all your best shot, because in the end, the only thing that will be left is the song echoing forever in the void of silence that will the giant formless, volumeless gap that will be left after Ragnarok is complete.
What you're saying is, because in the end, it doesn't
really matter. We walked so far and we tried so hard. But there you go. That's it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then, of course, last we have the unaligned, which we talked about, which is the ability to say no gods or my own god or my own thing. And you get a bonus of 2 skills of your choice. So we have to decide for Marcia Kingsley which way to go. And there's in a world where I go completely with what the art is telling me. Obviously,
where Anne goes completely where the art is telling her.
It's true. It's true. In a world, Shrika seems right, but on a level, the way I'm going with this, I don't really think she's just about like artifice, if that makes sense. So I'm almost thinking like either Kikatari, because life is one giant solo is the like quote that they have in the rules next to that, that I feel like makes sense. The other thing I think makes sense might be just to go unaligned and be like a baby, like new as in NU god. Just like, no, I'm going to become the next big thing. Which I feel like makes sense given the crushing weight of metal on my life in Mundania. What are your thoughts, Caleb?
Nothing is more metal than having your sights set on becoming a demigod. So if you want to, you can absolutely be like, yeah, I'm going to, no man, no gods, only rock, and just be your own crazy self.
Yeah, I feel like there's something about being so removed. Like when I think back to when I used to be a tour guide at Radio City Music Hall, and I had to wear a maroon tuxedo every day, and I wanted to die. Or when I worked at Unnamed Steakhouse with Australian theming, and I was like, "This is terrible. Like I can't do this." A lot of it was because my identity was being taken from me every day. I felt like I couldn't have purple hair. I couldn't like be metal. I couldn't metal out, in the way that we've been talking about. And so I feel like the need to express is not really something that I see reflected here, except maybe in Diomedes, which is to know your roots and not stray from what works. But I feel like if I'm going to choose between that and unaligned, I feel like I like the story better of like, I'm going to become a demigod. Like, I'm never going back to Mundania, is kind of the key here. So I like that. I think that's where we're going to go. Unaligned, shocking me, because when I saw that picture of that purple panther, we all know I thought that was what was going to happen. But here we are.
All right. You can be a purple panther. Do it.
I can. If I
unaligned.
Unaligned. All right,
okay.
Cool. So I'm going to scroll up here on my character sheet. I'm going to toss these god pictures out. Let me scroll up here. Our tone, unaligned. Our tone, harsh.
Sweet.
Okay, cool. And now, next up in character creation, we have, scroll down. Okay, so skills. Is that before or, yeah, we do skills and then we choose position. So your position in the band. That sounded weird the way I said it. Okay, so skills. Everyone gets 16 points plus their notoriety score. You enter the game after, basically a metal Metatron or a Lisa Frank unicorn rips you from the world of Mundania after you snap under the pressure of your mundane life, and go through the umbilical descent into Ragnarok, where you become your crazy avatar. And everyone at this point is able to like embrace their new life, their new tone, and all of that. And the game actually has something that this is the adventure that we're going to be playing on next Thursday. Spoilers, we'll be back with more Gods of Metal next week, same time, same bat channel. The umbilical descent is this awesome way to start the game so that your players don't actually have to create their characters before you sit down at the table. You can lead them through kind of a narrative character creation, and it's really cool and allows you to start having fun as soon as possible, which I'm a fan of. So everyone, though, during that as well will get their 16 points, and their notoriety of 0 adds nothing to that when you're fresh out of the umbilical descent. And you can use those between your different skills. So we're going to talk about what the skills are here in a second, but you can only have a max of 4 plus your notoriety. So at the beginning of the game, 4 is the max that you can have in any skill. Does this all sound right to you, Caleb?
That's about right, except that if you're unaligned, I believe you get an extra 2.
Yes. That is true. That is true. That is what they told me in the rules. The rules of Ragnarok. There are no rules except the ones in this book. And other than that, live your life. So I've scrolled down here so you guys can
Stay
see
place.
all the skills.
No rules, just rock.
No rules, just rock. Yeah, Little Bitty Monster says, I like the organic character creation method. Lowers the barrier to entry of having to flip through a manual to find and fill out all your stats. Exactly. Which can just like keep you from the fun sometimes. So Bang is the third stat you see here. This skill is the intent of trying to hit something with something at a distance. So there's a difference between that and bash, which is basically your melee armed combat skill. Bashing something in the face, hitting your weapon, watching it bleed. Cram is knowledge. So skill focused on learning the art of learning and how many facts you can fit into that cranium. Implore, which is more like in the religious sense. So do you understand the gods in their oft mysterious ways, or are you really just good at groveling? The age-old question, I suppose. So this skill is really about understanding the gods of Ragnarok, if that's your deal. Which it sounds like you were playing a Bloodguard, right? You said?
That's right.
Yeah, and they're all about that.
Implore is basically like in Ragnarok. It replaces like religious knowledge. So if basically, it's basically like, oh gosh, Kram, help me out. What the hell with you? That sort of thing. It's that's implore.
So, and examples they give of how to use it. This is one of the coolest things about the rules that I think is really like very narratively driven, but also very like it stretches to expand with your own creativity as players. So things you can do with implore, your tributes are so when you roll a d4, if you roll a 1, it's feedback, so that's you don't want to see those failures, right? But if you roll a 4, it's a tribute, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about how that works later. But a tribute obviously is a success, and tributes that you roll can be used for determining an avatar's tone on an implore perform check. It could be dropping some sweet gospel on the denizens of Ragnarok. It could be asking for favors, so literally praying to the gods and seeing if they'll answer. Identifying new gods, which is something that we talked about a little bit earlier, which may have descended from the main 6, and other religious inquiries. So everything to do with religion, but each one of these skills is kind of broken down like that in the book. Again, if you're curious about where you can get your hands on this, then you have to go to the Kickstarter. Just type in !Kickstarter into the chat, and it will take you there. All right, so all right, Forge.
Now we're coming up on the important one. Oh wait, we skipped one.
Oh, we did? Imploring gods for power?
There's implore, and then there's feelings.
Feelings. I think feelings might be last in this book that I'm reading.
Oh, my bad then.
No, it's totally fine. I would not want to skip feelings. I have so many. All right, 1 second.
Feelings is a skill you can have.
My Epic Game Store is like, do you want to play some games right now? And I'm like, I am. I don't need you to participate in this whole situation. All right, so Forge. You can't learn everything you need to know from reading a book. Sometimes you got to buckle down and get your hands dirty. That's what this skill is all about. So this is fixing Ragnarok gear, identifying cool shit, literally making things, like with a hammer and fire is one of the examples, and feelings. The folks and creatures in Ragnarok have emotions too, for good or ill. The choice is, do you talk them off a cliff or push them over? Legend smithing, which is the greatest version of Persuade I have ever seen named in an RPG. It's everything I've ever wanted to be. Magicka, which is your casting abilities, because this is fantasy, it's metal fantasy, but there is magic. So that's your casting ability, invoking abilities attached to your weapon, outfit, or accessory you would do with Magicka, defending yourself against magic being thrust upon you, or just like feeling the magical vibes, you know? little detect magica situation. Pharmacopoeia, which is your medicine and healing score. Slink, which is the stealth score, which I love. Stunts for athletics. Streets for city smarts, and wilds for nature smarts. So, oh man, that's a lot. We have, at this point, you have 16 points to spend at notoriety 0, and then I have 2 extras for being unaligned. So let's start filling this out. I really got to think about this. I think I definitely need Forge because of all of my design, right? I feel like that's going to carry over.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna max out my Forge score. Makes sense.
Lord. Okay, you are a maker extraordinaire.
Yeah. It's really hard for me not to be good at legend smithing. Really hard. I play a lot of charisma classes. I know chat is probably blowing up right now being like, obviously, Anne has to be good at persuasion, but it just kind of is how I am. I know who I am. I was talking with, I was running a game for Trix and some of our friends the other night, and they were asking me about my Curse of Strahd D&D game, and they said, so are you playing a bard? And I said, no, I'm playing a paladin. And they were like, how is that paladin bard like? And I was like, she's not. She's just an Oath of Heroism paladin who wants to be worthy of legends being told around the world. Okay, yeah, she's a bard. She's just a paladin, but it's spelled bard. Or she's just a bard, but it's spelled paladin. And we all know that that's who you're dealing with. So we might as well throw a few in legend smithing. Let's throw the extra 2 in there, right? So that's 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we still have 10 more. I feel like I want to be good at Magicka. Let's do 3 Magicka.
Magicka is basically like sorcery. It doesn't have to do there will be like a spell book included in the rules. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of that that's been fleshed out yet. So I can't. But basically, yeah, magic missile, lightning bolt, that sort of thing.
Incredible. And then the other thing, let's see.
What about damage and stuff like that? How do
you want to fight? I don't care. I just want to sit in a corner and be pretty
and
make stuff. And that's we have to do some fighting. I think I'm gonna be a ranged fighter. So bang. Let's call that 3. So that's 2, 5, 9, 10, 11. Ooh boy, feelings that's understanding people. That's like your insight check.
Yes, it is, but it also there. Let me tell you something a little bit about Ragnarok. We do have elemental damage, like in other role-playing games. There are weapons that have fire, ice, lightning, but you can also deal emotional damage. So if you're, you can actually
that's perfect.
So you can actually hit somebody with like a spell or a song and have them be like, oh my feelings, and that can literally put them over the edge. So
okay.
that's
love that.
And this can actually play into that a little bit.
So
it won't give you extra dice, but it'll give you something to add to your dice.
I went through everything and added a 1 because what I should have told you all is everything starts at a base of 1. So anything else you add is on top of that. You can have a max of 4 at notoriety 0. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've actually only spent 7 points, so we're okay. Let's do some more bash and feeling. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh boy, schmooze, is that like different? How is schmooze different from legend smithing?
Legend smithing is basically trying to, it's basically boasting.
Okay.
I slew that buttworm so damn hard. Its relatives and ancestors in times to come will be like, oh, that guy, clerk at Clockbuster, just, we must, we are ashamed to be related to, to our ancestor. Right. So that, and everybody else will be like, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll believe you. You can come in now. That's legend smithing. Schmoozing is like, hey, I dig nice drip. Let's hang. That's schmoozy.
Okay. Okay. This is important. These are all important things. Okay. I'm overwhelmed, but we're gonna do it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we have 16, 17, 18. So we have 7 more points to spend. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put another one in schmooze. I'm gonna add some in stunts. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do some street knowledge. 5, 6, 7. This is it, because I have an idea of what I want to do for my position in the band, but we're gonna talk about all the potential positions. But I think you guys will understand why I have the desire, the truest of desires, to understand the wild things of the world. And maybe we might. This is something that happens, right? When you're making a character, so you might go back and forth about things, but this is all my points spent for now. So let's talk about position in the band. So position
Or
is,
from the outhouse. So that makes a lot of sense that you are aligned with the wilds.
It's true. It's true. The position in this game defines kind of your class, for lack of a better word. So you're going to choose and aim for a team, hopefully in your band, with a lot of versatility to make sure that everyone kind of like gets an area to cover. Now that doesn't mean, I hear this question a lot, like, can I make a bard that's not musical? Absolutely. There are kind of like support classes in this as well, that you could be like the fan. You could be, anyone who's metal in and around. Yeah, you could be the groupie, you could be the hype lord, is what I would call it personally. But I think it's there's a lot you can do, right? So I think there's a lot to mine here, but let's talk about the positions that are in the game. So brutalizers, these are weapon stacked warriors of metal. Crushed by the weight of their lives in Mundania. These people have absolutely reached the snapping point, and they gain benefits like two-handed fighting. Blood guards, we heard a little bit about earlier. They are deeply in tune with their tone and uphold the doctrines of their gods reverently. They're kind of like clerics or paladins. Shredders tap into the power chords of creation with a focus on a legend. Shredder! They have a focus on a legendary instrument. They're a very versatile class. They represent Mundanians with an interest in musical pursuits, in areas, or Mundanians who have a focus in different, like, technical skills, usually. Howlers. They summon monsters with song to fight at their side. That was the one that stuck out to me first of all, because I like pets and I like singing. It's really that simple.
It doesn't need to be a physical monster either. It can be like an ancestral spirit or some sort of like, something like that. It can be anything you want.
You can really, that goes back to the earlier in the conversation where these things are going to manifest literally however you want. You don't have to be a person. Like, you can be anything. So, Howlers, let's see. Their magic is indicative of battling both within themselves and the pressures of the outside world, and with the pressures of the outside world. And their focus on the song can make them incredibly persuasive out of combat. And chord masters draw on the chord of creation as well, but more through like a monastic tradition. They're kind of the monks of this game. They're also masked, right?
They are masked, and what they do is they pull in like elemental powers, and as they level up, as they grow in notoriety, parts of their bodies, their physical forms actually warp and couldn't be destroyed by the pure metalness, the pure brutality of all the elemental forces that are at their command. So literally, you can have like you can play a chord master that has an arm that's literally just a huge burning brand of fire or lightning or ice or something like that.
So
And eventually,
cool.
what will happen is that at your greatest notoriety, your physical form, you become like this luminous spirit being that is pure elemental power. And but your mask will still probably be there. Your identity is nothing compared to the powers
Gotcha.
that you possess.
And lastly, the Amp Lords. These are masters of gear. They create and tune incredible items to their will. And honestly, like, there are a lot of reasons to be any one of these things, but in order to move us along, I've chosen to be an Amp Lord, and I'm going to read you
Nice.
the expanded description for Amp Lord. A lot of this stuff, again, you will find so many awesome descriptions in the book, and one of my favorite things about the rule set that I was given to prep for this was that it starts with like 3 descriptions of possible interpretations of that position for each of them, and I think that like really gets the imagination going. So again, 10 out of 10 exclamation point Kickstarter in chat if you want to go and give them money to get
Thank
your
you.
PDF or the book or any number of multimedia options they have later on. I went in there being like, I'm just gonna get a PDF, and then I was like, okay, $200 later, great.
Bless you.
So, Amp Lords. In Ragnarok, gear is a fickle mistress. Like wild animals, they need to be tamed in order to be harnessed, which is why all gear requires tuning. Even after use, they can be abused. Amp Lords are the masters of gear and devote their lives to learning more about how to bend them to their will. They're basically gear druids employing gear spirits. Bringing your own version of Amp Lord to the world of Ragnarok. There are several schools of construction concepts that Amp Lords can explore, being it imploring gear spirits or physically building and imbuing items themselves. Amp Lords are very handy with they're very hands-on with their work. They employ amplings, which are like little spirit amp creatures, to do much of their bidding, possessing various items, or they can magically rig a a gig box, which they can use in versatile circumstances. Can you tell us a little more about amplings, Caleb?
Okay, well, at low levels of notoriety, ampling basically are like these little imps that can help you out. They're kind of like your familiars. They can
Right.
perform minor tasks. One of them, you can reach into it and pull out a single item that might help you. Or they can attack, defend. Very, very simple little things. They're basically there to just assist you. Their little gearbox lid will open, an eyeball or a tentacle will peer out, and I'll be like, "What's up, boss?" At greater levels of notoriety, you can either have more amplings, or you can increase the size of existing amplings so that they can provide greater assistance to you.
So
Amp Lords are really, really versatile. They can take the kind of damage that you deal, twist it into something else. They can supply theatricality and effects to make your performances and your attacks and defenses more versatile and more effective. Literally just by employing lights on trusses and smoke screens and things like that.
totally.
So they're kind of like Mysterio. They can be a little, but at the same time, but it's not all illusion. It's mostly illusion, but it's not all illusion. What they actually are doing is sort of like filtering the powers that be in the realm of Ragnarok, so that they can twist it and turn it into something that is useful for any situation. That's the Amp Lord, and they do it all with a fun little light deck or soundboards and stuff like that, and they can be anything you want.
Super cool. And that's kind of why I went with the extra points in wilds, because I figured that would be my way to communicate with amplings, which is really all I want to do in my life. And now there's a way to do it through this game. So let's see here. Okay, I think we're good. We've chosen our position. We're gonna add it in here. Amp Lord.
There is one thing you haven't chosen yet.
Yes.
And that is your
my
Ragnarock name. Yeah.
I know. I'm I'm being a little bit coy about it and reverent.
Fair
But
enough.
I would love chat to join in if you have any suggestions. I feel like what are some good aspects of this? It's like
Oh, okay.
I feel like concepts are like noise, like illusions,
Smoke and mirrors.
yeah. Ooh, smoke and mirror is actually an incredible avatar name.
Smoke and
Are
mirror.
you kidding?
Nice.
That's sick. That's pretty good. Smoke and mirrors, or smoke and mirror, I think, singular. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call myself. Me, her, who we make here now. Smoke and mirror is my avatar name. What a time to be alive. I feel so free. I feel so full. All right.
What a time to be alive. Blow that piece of
Literally,
junk
what a time to be
out
alive.
of the sky.
Okay, so once you've gotten this far, which shockingly we have, you also should note that you get abilities based on which gods you follow or don't follow. There are options for abilities for unaligned gods, and there are also abilities that pertain to which position in the band that you've chosen. And that also helps build out, like, there's so many different ways to be an Amp Lord. There's so many different ways to be a Blood Guard and chain different abilities together to do what you want. So worry not. Not all not all Amp Lords are the same. So the last thing you do is you have to choose 3 things. You have to choose your gear, which becomes a weapon, an outfit, and an accessory, which strangely enough, I think, are kind of what Caleb needs in order to be able to draw. So let's do it. I think.
Oh, this is where chat's going to have a lot of fun with you.
Oh, yeah. So I already have this accessory idea of like a unicorn horn headpiece.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Of course, but what does it do?
What doesn't it do, Caleb, is the question you should be asking yourself. No.
Okay.
I feel like the unicorn horn headpiece could be like maybe a scrying thing. Like I like it's more like meditative to understand. Like it's kind of what I want to use to understand the playing space so that I can fill it with design, right?
Okay.
So it's a vibe check. Unicorn horn.
Vibe check. Okay.
Unicorn
I like
horn of vibe check. And I feel like, that is there are a lot of abilities on here about like sensors or vision scrying or like an area buff. I feel like that is my amp. My unicorn horn is like my amp. It's how I amplify my magic and anything else that I do. It comes through the horn.
You got it.
Is that good? What up, Raiders? Welcome. Thanks for coming by.
Would you say it's like +1 to notice, or we could just say vibe check?
I think it's +1 to vibe check, but it's definitely. What would be the notice check of Gods of Metal?
Well, it could be something like I don't know. It would be something intuitive. Let's say
maybe feelings. I like feelings.
Let's do it. +1 to feelings, so you can suss out.
I like feelings.
I like feelings, especially if you salt them right, little garlic.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way. Okay, so +1 to feelings. Good.
Okay, great. +1 to feelings. Love it.
Good.
I'm actually going to change my things to make me better at feelings. Or will it give me a +1 to feelings?
It will give you a +1 to feelings.
Oh, great. That's perfect. Okay. So it will give me a +1. And you know what? I'm going to mark these on here as being additional from... You know what? That's a terrible color. Let's get blue. Okay. So I have another one from Feelings. All right. Next up, we have...
Want to say the outfit for last, or...
Yeah, outfit is last. I think my weapon... Can my weapon be a creature? Or does it have to be a thing?
No, it can be alive.
Creature?
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
It can be a cat that shoots lasers.
Oh my god. I'm so happy.
Are you bang
right
or bash? What are you?
I'm bang.
Okay, you're bang.
So,
Okay, so it needs to be a ranged attack, probably. So
okay,
anything you can think of.
I want... You know what? I take it back. It was going to be a creature, but now I can't think of a creature that would have a ranged attack. I kind of want like a sonic bow. Like
sonic bow. Okay.
Yeah. That shoots my magic out of it, and like any kind of like ranged attack magic out of it that isn't like a vibe, like feelings check. It's more of the like actual magic, like fireballs that will hurt you. And yeah, animal interpretation. Like I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna lean into the like the druid amplord situation here. Like the wild metal. Wow, what a weird genre I just created. Is that a thing?
Wild metal? I'll have to look it up.
I think that's like yes. I want.
I think
that means.
I think you just invented it.
I am such a trendsetter. No, nothing is more metal than me right now. I feel so good about it, everybody.
Wild metal.
Chiron, how are you? How was your stream? I hope it was awesome. We're getting ready to draw here. We've been deep in the throes of character creation. Okay, so I think that is going to give us +1 to Magicka, probably.
Okay.
Right? Because we were talking about it casting spells out of it. And then, or maybe it's +1 to bang, I guess. Because it's ranged.
You can do that, sure. Let's do +1 to bang.
Okay.
Bang.
Great. +1 to bang. Got it. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have to choose the outfit. And as you all know, this is my greatest hour. Yeah, druid metal. Okay, so I think she's got giant antlers that are like hung with moss and skulls. Like giant green hair metal, like hair. And
so, okay, we're talking like striper hair, but there's actually antlers poking out of it that are dripping with like moss and skull. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Interpret as you will. Like if you can't do all these things, not that like you can't do them, but like it's a lot for an area. So
none of
I'm saying words.
Okay, so
and you are the artist who gets to decide what's most important.
You got the magic, I'll supply the wand.
Yeah.
See. All right, so hair metal. Wait, hold on. Glam hair plus.
Yeah. We're only
Sorry,
on the head.
I know this is important stuff, man. Glam hair plus, there's this band that does like old Iron Age style songs, and they use all like instruments made out of like bones and sticks, and they're called Halung, I think. Something like yeah. So antlers plus bones, skulls rather. Okay, glam hair plus antlers plus skulls plus moss equals you.
Equals me. It's true. And then I think as far as like the actual physicalization of the outfit, I think we need like so many tattoos, just like almost like
so many
whole
tattoos.
body. Yeah, so many tattoos. And so many tattoos. Yeah, 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 so many tattoos we need... Man, should she be... Like leather pants? Kind of like a crop... Like one of those flowy crop top things so that you can see the tattoos and how they are all of her. And like a ripped leather studded vest that used to be a jacket. Maybe it has like one arm still, but the other arm is out.
Nice.
Like it's been ripped off. And then obviously like a what am I trying to say? Not a holster for your bow, a quiver. Like maybe a hip quiver. I think a hip quiver is a little more metal than the back quiver.
That is definitely more.
Yeah.
Not even,
oh my God, you guys, I'm vibrating. Like my whole body is vibrating.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You are manifesting
like
mirror.
wild metal as a concept is honestly, we might have to change my name, but yeah, no, I like it. It's perfect. It's so good. You know, yeah, if we wanted to change unicorn horn to just the antlers, because that's a lot of ideas on the head, we could do that.
Let's wait and see what it looks like first,
Yeah.
and then we can play around with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel
I'm
like
just saying I'm open to your interpretation.
yeah, the last thing I want to do is, throw away like the cherry on
coolest
top.
Yeah, no, for sure. Juicy Garland says, more horns, not less. What's wrong with you?
Seriously, no, they know what
Yeah.
they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, more
Juicy
is
Garland.
more. Yeah.
That's
So-
the best name I've ever heard.
So Juicy is going to be playing in our game next week. She is a fabulous drag queen, and I am so excited. She's going to put together a look for our stream as well, and I'm so hype about it.
You should be.
Shout out Juicy Garland in chat. Best Garland. And that's saying something.
Yeah. All right. Has anybody been seeing my screen, or has it all been?
Oh no, they're seeing it.
God.
I've been flipping back and forth. I'm actually I'm gonna make you the focus now while we chat, because my part of filling in the character sheet is pretty much donezo. So let me get draw.
All right, so this is a lot.
Huh?
This is a lot. I love it.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Don't be. How dare you? No, don't do that. This is
Oh
great.
my God.
This is great. Okay.
What a time to be alive.
Seriously. All right. Let's see here. What am I gonna start
I know.
with?
Chiron says you have really good handwriting, and it's true.
Thank you. Very kind. All right. So first off, think of a. What might help is if you can think of like an actor.
Oh yeah.
That Smokin might be. If I'm getting the name right. Might
Smoke
be
and Mirror.
portrayed by.
Let's think of. Man, who would it be?
If not
I'm
an
thinking of
actor, then like a
someone
body type.
Yeah, I'm thinking of someone like a little more diminutive, like where the clothes have truly made the person.
Like Anna Kendrick, or what are you talking about? Like
yeah,
how
you know what?
diminutive
That's
are we talking
perfect.
about?
That's perfect. Anna Kendrick is great.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Or if we were going with somebody who's like lithe ranger lady, I think of God, what's her name from Lost, who was in the Hobbit movies?
Oh, Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, Evangeline Lilly is like the perfect, like, I'm a strong person body type, but like I'm
also three
I'm
apples
a
high.
ranged person. Yeah, exactly.
No, I got you.
God, she was so good in Lost, and now like Where is she? I miss her.
She.
Am I
I
stupid?
think they're
Is she
doing. No,
anything?
I think they're doing. I think they're happy. I think they're doing their own thing.
That's
At
true.
least that's what I heard. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
I definitely don't
They're
mean
still
to
on the
imply that
island.
she owes me something, because she definitely doesn't. But
Now, do you want this
yeah,
person to be like an elf?
they do not need. I think all the rest of it is enough. I think
Okay.
there's a lot of. I mean, sure, make them an elf. An elf. Why not?
Done.
If you can be an elf, be one. Right?
Unless you can be Batman.
Unless you can be Batman.
Or
Elf Batman.
Elf Batman.
Yeah, I mean, there's
'Cause
a lot to be
that's-
said for it.
I think that would be perfect. He takes off his hat and his ears literally go into the points. Like
That's
that would be
true.
perfect.
Trix brings up that she was doing Wasp and Ant-Man stuff, and she absolutely was. And I totally forgot about that. I loved Ant-Man.
Right. Oh my gosh, she's friggin' the Wasp. What am I doing? Of course.
I
She's
would love to see more
making
of
friggin'
just-
Disney bucks.
Yeah, and who, like, can you imagine the Lost Bucks, the Disney Bucks,
That's a lot of bucks.
then the Marvel Bucks?
That's a lot.
Man, there's got to be some sort of, like, what is it when you get when you EGOT? There's got to be some sort of weird EGOT for cult fiction. When you've been, like, in Lord of the Rings and Marvel and, like, a cult sci-fi TV show. Like, all she's missing is Star Wars. Like, that's literally it. Like, Star Wars or Star Trek, and she's got, like, her sci-fi queen
Seriously.
handled.
Jeez. Well done.
Yeah. How dare I ask what she's been up to, honestly? How dare I?
How dare you?
True story, little bitty monster. So, while Caleb is drawing, I should tell you guys, I think there's...
Caleb is drawing. Hey, that's my Twitter handle.
Caleb is drawing, and it's on the screen now. Go give him a follow, guys. Whilst you're about that, I do want to tell people that this is hardly the end of the Gods of Metal content that is going to be on this channel and on my YouTube in the next 2 weeks.
No, this is just
it's a lot
beginning.
because you guys reached out to me and you were like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, here's 3 ideas I guess I could do, before I realized I was going to have to do them in 2 weeks. But then I was like, no, I'm doing all of these. I don't want to give any of them up. I like them all. All of my content, children, must be created. So we're doing this right now, obviously. So that's check 1. The next thing I'm doing is I will be filming a video that the fabulous Magic Llama in chat will be editing, that will go out next Wednesday to everyone and Tuesday to my patrons. That will be an overview of the world. There are tons of places in Ragnarok you're going to want to hear about. So we'll talk in that video. I'll kind of go over some of the aspects of character creation, but nothing as in-depth as today, right? So people will get an idea of it. And I'll also, kind of give you a sense of, more of the mechanics of how roles work and things like that, which I can talk about while we're drawing to here for a little bit. And then the other thing that's going to happen is next Thursday, so literally a week from today at 6 p.m. ET, y'all are going to be able to tune in for an awesome epic metal fantasy adventure that begins with Umbilical Descent, the written adventure where you don't have to roll your characters before you start playing, and then it will leap off into an adventure of my making after the descent. So I will be the Metal Maestro here doing an actual play of this game, and I am so just like, honestly, if making content means that I get to play games before everybody else when I want to play them, then like that's a fair trade. I'm fine with it. So it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be here. Juicy will be in that show. My friend Christina Ramos will be in that show, and JC I always want to say JC Catch a Falling Star. My friend JC, who is a professional dungeon master, will come and join us for that show. I've been trying to get him on the channel for a while. He is the awesome dungeon master who's been running Curse of Strahd for me and my friends for the last couple of years, and and my friend Chris, who you guys already know from Frontline Friends on Friday and the Around the Hearth podcast on Fridays. Chris will be joining us as well. So that is, and Juicy Garland, as previously stated. So that is everyone who is in the show. It is going to be absolutely wild. I sent them kind of a guide to some of the concepts for character creation today because, and here she is, the part of the stream where we look at Anna Kendrick. It's okay.
Part of every stream, really. I'm sorry.
Literally the other day
Classic.
I was on here and we were looking at Lee Pace because I wanted to look at his
Of course
cool
you did.
Thranduil outfit. And
Of course you did.
Murder Sauce says, I just showed up at the perfect time. You're right. You did. It's so good. Oh my god, I'm crying. What is this stream? I've got Baby Yoda. We have Anna Kendrick. It's just, what's not to love?
That's the real EGOT right there.
There you go. Yeah.
You just EGOTed, but it's like a stream EGOT where everybody's just like Anna Kendrick.
I stream got.
There you go.
I stream got. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing that I just said.
It is now.
So when you are doing character design, I mean, obviously I'm watching you, but where do you like to start?
I typically like to start. I actually teach character design. So one of the things I like to do is I start with my foundations. I start with shape. Trying to figure out, is this character going to be sort of pointy? Are they going to be round and friendly? Are they going to be square and stubborn? Or are they going to be sort of like a composite of a couple of those? Now, this is a metal character, so obviously they're going to be kind of pointy because they have to be brutal. And then I sort of figure out oh, absolutely. And then I sort of figure out, okay, well, that's the shape language. So I need to figure out what their proportions are. It's Anna Kendrick, so, she's this, she's a Smurf, but she's lithe. And, and then there's
I can't believe you suggested her, and I was like, yeah, that's perfect. But it is. It's exactly what I meant.
Well, you said, diminutive, but, and I'm like, what, like Anna Kendrick diminutive? And you're like, sure.
Yeah.
And then,
Makes
so that
sense.
was that.
It's perfect. I think that's really helpful to a lot of artists is realizing like you can and should reference. It's
absolutely.
really helpful to get the juices flowing for sure.
No, reference is not a cheat. It's absolutely necessary. As long as you're not slavish to it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
You can't, as you look at the reference, be like, oh, perfect, and then throw it away.
Juicy Garland has defined diminutive as small and angry, which I think I prefer.
Yeah. Okay. Small, angry, militant fairy. There you go. How about that?
Militant fairy. Who gave us the right, Caleb, to come up with things like wild metal and militant fairy? We are the music makers. We are the dreamers of dreams. We are the arbiters of metal.
Do whatever we want.
We are the taste makers of metal.
That's right.
Which brings me to a point that I think is really, really important and was for me in kind of understanding the vibe of this game, right? I am not, like, if you were to be like, name 10 metal bands, I'm going to gatekeep you in metal, I probably couldn't. No. I probably couldn't. My draw to this game from the very, very beginning was the fact that it's all bards and it's all cool bardic interpretations of like fantasy elements and elementals, and again, the freedom to exist how you want in space is so important to so many people that I chose a humanoid, but again, for anyone who wasn't here earlier, you could just be a thing, and that's so cool.
Yeah, although to be honest with you, I have used this project to get a lot more sort of like learned about, or educated, I should say, about different kinds of metal and music traditions from all over the world. Like metal is huge because there's always going to be young kids that are angry, and the thing is that metal doesn't age like that. The kids that are angry grow up into cranky ass old people that are angry all the
Yeah,
time. And
absolutely.
and it's like one of the best metal bands I could think of is one that was introduced to me by our marketing director, Markia.
Mm.
Shout out to Markia,
Yeah, shout
who
out for
is
arranging all of this. Thank you, Markia.
absolutely and she introduced me to this band called Death from Detroit.
Uh-huh.
And they're all African American, and they've been around for like 40 years, and they've been metal since the days of Kiss. You know, there are Nigerian metal bands that are just amazing. We've included some people on our LP, as I mentioned before. There's Bollywood, which is from India. There are most of the time metal bands tend to get started by doing, by aping something.
Yeah.
The way that most artists do. They do fan art. They do covers of bands that they really really like. Ozzy Osbourne or Black
I
Sabbath. There's this.
can't believe that you said that there is like Bollywood metal because that is the coolest thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, Bloodywood. Check it out. If you don't believe
It's
me,
called
it's on
Bloodywood?
Bloodywood, and they are literally they're a band from India. I believe they're Hindi. Most of their just look up the famous Hindi song Tunak Tunak Tun from the 90s,
Uh-huh.
and they do a metal version of it with a singer from Brazil that will if you play it while you're exercising, you will immediately like get like the sickest guns you've ever seen.
So many
Um,
sick guns, so many calories burned. Like,
Absolutely. You'll be like, oh my gosh, my feelings. I just burned 10,000 calories with my feelings, and
totally.
yeah, that'll be it. Oh, these legs are terrible. I need to toss them. Sorry. Um,
How do you
so
how do you like so for me, I have to Google like positions of people. I cannot just be like, yeah, these are what legs look like. I can't do it. They just look like tree trunks. Tell me your thoughts.
um, draw 10,000 legs.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
no,
That's
that's not.
fair
Well, it doesn't have to be
assessment.
10,000 legs. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
10,000. What you need to do is just practice, make
Mhm.
mistakes. One of the biggest things I do when I'm teaching is I tell people to make friends with their frustrations,
Mm.
because patience is the only thing that's going to separate you from uh, people that want to be artists and can't cut it, can't hack it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, but everybody's always told me I'm so talented. I'm like, you know what? People told me I was talented too, but the people who
Yeah.
beat me out of those jobs were the ones that were dedicated.
Mhm.
So dedication, perseverance, being
Yeah.
patient with yourself, giving
Someone
yourself a chance to
Oh, go
screw
ahead.
up. No, no, that's it. That's
Yeah,
that,
I
that's
think
that's my
someone said to
TED
me,
talk.
thank you for inviting me to your TED Talk. I love that. And someone said to me the other day, um, I just don't know how to get further in a different like path or a different choice or a different career. I feel like so much of it is luck on the luck of the draw. And I was like, be Han Solo. You make your own luck. I mean, I'm out here.
There is no
I
such
do
thing
be
as
out
luck.
here making content on my own.
Yeah.
And it got me to the point where I got to like work with this cool thing that I had seen, kind of coming down the pipeline. I didn't know back then that I would get to do a bunch of this content that I was really interested in making and partnering with hunters. But it's really cool that I happen to look at these Facebook groups, right, that I'm in for different reviewers and things like that in tabletop, and I saw it come up and I went after it. And that's part of it is you have to dedicate yourself to the work around the work as well,
Yeah,
when you're
that's
looking
absolutely right.
to be a professional. Now, here's another question for you to
Sure.
take it back to art and TTRPGs. What came first for you? Enjoying tabletop role playing games or enjoying uh, being an artist?
Oh, I've always been an artist.
Yeah.
I've been an artist
Well,
since I
they're not
was
mutually
two.
exclusive, right? But
Well, the idea is that there's if you get a kid, I was one of these kids that just had a natural proclivity for it. They would buy me
mm,
blocks, and instead of building things with the blocks, I would take the blocks and I would scrawl on the wall with the corner of the block. You know, um, that was me. I've always been visual rather than like geometric or constructive. I've always wanted to make drawings need to make sure. Does that look like a dump truck to you? I mean, I feel like I'm trying to give her a tiny bit of a butt, but I mean,
No, I mean she can have as much butt as it takes to leap. I'm not
I
afraid.
guess so.
I'm not afraid of muscular bottoms. That's not.
No, I'm not. Neither am
why-
I. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I give
Yeah, I think
Miss Kendrick her due.
her due. No, I don't think it looks like that. I think like she looks. One of the things that I with my kind of short. With my short body, because I'm 5'1" and 3/4. Again, that 3/4
Nice.
absolutely matters. People are like, "Can't you just say 5'1"?" And I'm like, "No, because I earned that." Is that I think,
Can't you just say 5'1" and you can be like, well, can't you just shut up? How about that?
Can't you? Can't you just shut up for a second?
Yeah.
I think like one of the things that I like about small angry fairy people a lot of the times is the proportions are like different, right? Like if you're short waisted, you know, sometimes that shape is like, again, it's what we're looking at, and so that's why it might seem like she has that booty dough, but like also, why not?
She's bent that way. That's the reason why the booty has to flex.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, leather pants, flowy crop top. I need to figure this in here. I want to shred it a little bit just to make it look kind of more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shred it up.
Shred it up. Okay, so she's got like a leather bracelet. She's got them guns. Okay, so we need to give her like a shoulder, something like that. We got spikes. More spikes because it's metal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She needs a belt. I'm thinking like probably just like a rack of bullets.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Let's see. Let's give her. Okay, I'm gonna make her. Give her like some stitching down the side, or
she could have that like yeah, it could be like open with stitching down the sides, or like
yeah. How's chat feeling about this?
Chat thoughts. They say all about that booty. The booty is where the strength is. You need the lifting power of hams. You can't stop the badonkadonk and shouldn't. And get that ass. So I think they're in agreement.
I feel like we're in the right. We're on the right path.
We're in the realm. We're in the realm.
We're in the as realm.
As seen on Twitch, we're in the realm.
Well done. Well done.
Thanks. I'm not a dad, but I got them dad humors. Wow. Oh my God. The hair is everything. I live Tyler, because she's also an elf.
Nice.
Boom.
Oh God. Sick.
But yeah,
now, I'm gonna make these instead of like straight ones. I'm gonna make them like curved, like claws.
Yeah. For anyone that be new here, by the way, welcome. I'm so glad you came. I'm Ann Richmond, aka Heartsinger, the head bard in charge. And while today we are looking at Gods of Metal Ragnarok, you can find me on YouTube every Wednesday with a new tabletop RPG focused video. This week for Valentine's Day, I did a video with tips for how to add romantic roleplay to your games. If that's something you're into, I think it is an awesome thing to check out. Oh, thank you so much, Surprise. I appreciate that. So please go ahead over there and give me a subscribe on YouTube if you're new. Give us a follow here so that you can join the Baby Bards and be a part of more awesome streams, including our Gods of Metal Ragnarok one-shot next Thursday evening. Very, very excited about that as well. But yeah, it's a good time. Oh, thank you so much, Surprise. I love you.
Oh,
My Baby Bards are all out there. They're doing all the pushing everything for me. It's so nice.
beautiful. Oh, bless. Benrar bless you all. You guys are the metal, the medalist.
The
No, sorry.
medalist.
No, I'm sorry.
The most metallic.
Shrika. Yeah.
Shrika, right.
Tribute
But
from
yeah,
Fika all around.
man, wild metal. I can't get over how cool we are. Really, which is,
Yeah,
that's the exciting thing. Dude, elf metal. What a time to be alive.
it really is.
Truly the most. It's funny because I was like, I'll be totally metal, and then I was just an elf again. It's fine. I like elves. It's okay
It
to like
totally
elves.
is. Yes, yes, it
I also
is
just like
totally fine.
really love big hair. Like I love big hair.
Then again, this is the game for you.
Yeah, this is it.
You're
This is the time.
you literally made your hair part of your equipment, and it gives
I
you
know.
power. So I feel like
Doo-doo,
that's
doo-doo.
you figured out that sick Venn diagram in order to make this game work for you.
I feel like my whole life is just making bizarre
Making hair
Venn
work for you.
diagrams. It is making hair work for me. That's in when I found purple. When I found the ability to, let's talk about self-expression, because I feel like that's so much of what this game is, like figuring out how to like literally weaponize. But I feel like that's when I became my most like authentic metal self. Is when I realized like I had total agency over wearing what I wanted and creating what I wanted and having hair that I wanted. And I wonder, chat, if you feel the same. Like what makes you feel metal in your life? Please tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us in the
please
chats.
do. That actually is something I would like to know.
Yeah. And what about you, Caleb? When did you become most metal? When did you reach your final form?
When I stopped worrying about being metal,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I decided I could, partially be as metal I would basically I reached my peak metalness when I realized, you know what, this whole situation that I've got right now is as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna embrace my, you are 5'1", I'm 5'7". I literally am just like a little snow dwarf. So that's me.
Dwarves are
And
great.
I
All right.
Well, you know what? It's not a bad. I inherited it, so I'm gonna,
You gotta go with
you
it.
know, you gotta accentuate your attributes, my dudes. And that means, hey, if you've got the ability to grow a beard in 5 minutes, you chase
You
that
do it.
magnificent dream of yours. Yeah. Um. So
Yeah.
go for it. That's what I say.
I think
That's when I realized I achieved peak metal, and unfortunately, I was in my 40s. So there you go.
I mean that's fair though. Like it's never too late to meddle. And for that matter, I think that speaks to me as a geek person, because I talk to a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I really want to get into tabletop," and they just don't feel necessarily like it's been an inviting place for them to self-express. And so, that's one of the reasons I'm so proud of our community here at Hearthsinger Games and on our Discord, which just went through chat. So please, if you're new here, join us. This is an awesome place to meet other people who enjoy tabletop RPGs of all sorts of systems, and just want to share that with each other in a place where like exploration is celebrated. And that is one of the reasons I was just so excited to bring you guys a new system here. Again, exclamation point Kickstarter if you're interested in supporting them, because what they're doing is bringing us, if you don't mind me bragging about you and being your hype lord, your amp lord, is they're bringing like the most self-expressive game to the table, and I really think you guys are going to have a total blast with it. So please go over there, show them some love, share it with a friend. I think for as little as like $20 you can get the PDF. That might not be true. It might be 50. It could be 20.
No. It's actually very inexpensive just to get the PDF. If you want some of the toys and things that come along with it, it gets a little bit more pricey. But
Well,
for the
that's
most
what
part,
got
yeah,
me.
that's
That's what
of
got me,
course.
because I was like, I'm gonna get the book, and then I was like, well, I want the music, because preparing for this stream, I like wanted to get like cool, more obviously legally able to use metal music for the backing of this and our game next week. But I also, in that sensibility, wanted to make sure that I had like cool dice and stuff like that. And so I don't know. I really wanted the metal album that they're gonna do as a stretch goal. Like I wanted that, and I wanted the dice, and so it got out of hand, and I spent $145, and it's fine because that's what brings me joy. But that's what
It's
happened
fine.
today.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine.
That's what happened today. So I encourage you, be
You are-
like me and support the Kickstarter.
Be like you. Spend money you don't have on things that will make you feel good.
And by the way, if you're curious about where this music is from, guys, it's on Soundstripe. Again, hashtag not sponsored, but it's an awesome site where you can get royalty-free music for your YouTube videos and your games. You can search by genre and all this stuff. And you have to pay for it, but you can get licenses for everything and put in the project that you're going to use it in. Really, really recommend it. And it makes sure that people are paid for their work. So if it's something, there are other royalty-free sites where you can get stuff for free. But I'm making so much content these days that I don't want to bore you with the same stuff all the time. And I have, awesome things for every occasion, which is great. And I still have Murder Sauce's awesome music, which you hear as my theme song when I'm getting ready to go live. So we grok supporting artists and supporting musicians here on this channel. Dude, the spikies on the arms are really where it's at.
Thank you. Well, that's part of that shape language I was talking about before. So yeah, we got to. Oh, and so right. Let's go. Let's take it back. A little bit of So we got shape. We got proportion. We've got the silhouette, which is all about the silhouette on this one. Yeah. But the thing is, it always is. Every single design has to look like it's it has to look like it's for a wedding. It's got to be perfect. And then there's the pose, which is where we are with the extraness.
Discuss that every time you've made an adjustment to the butt, it looks better every time.
Well, that's because
that's why you keep.
Who doesn't struggle with butts? I mean, I feel like that's.
I struggle with mine every day, but you know what? I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, or not at all.
Just remember,
this is a pandemic.
Pants first, then shoes. That's
right. Yes. Right. Smart. I've tried it the other way. I definitely
don't
have.
Do that. Yeah. So I mean, who hasn't?
I used to work at a Renaissance fair, and the rule was always boots first, then corset for a reason. And let me tell you, it was not great. The one day I was like, great, I'm ready. I was very tired. We had, stayed up late at the campsite the night before. And I had all my instruments for the day because yes, I was a literal bard at the Ren Fair. And I got all my stuff on, and then I was like, oh, God damn it, I didn't put my boots on. So I'm sitting there all ready and gussied up for the day, and I literally had to beg a friend to put my shoes on for me. I felt so terrible because I couldn't get down there.
That makes total
sense.
Very
far away. Yeah. Yeah, that reason is real, says Juicy. Amazing.
No, I went to Renaissance fairs when I was a wee one as well, when I was in high school, college.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a kissing bridge at your
Oh, we absolutely did. Yeah, I worked at the New York Renaissance Fair. I was in the Robin Hood scenario. So I was one of the merry band, and my role was Maid Marian's servant who traveled with her, and then we both were living in the woods by the end of the day because we had a story that went throughout the day at the fair, which was really.
You ended up being girlfriends and screw Robin Hood.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little bit, but. Yeah, we had.
It's a Renaissance fair.
It was
LGBTQ stuff is
it's everywhere.
It was everywhere. It was in the beer. It was in the turkey legs.
The mead. But yeah, that's No Haven, who saw it a couple of times, says that's how I remember it. But it definitely was one of those times where, I mean, speaking of feeling like you understand people at their most authentic, I think allowing people to express themselves in that way played such a huge role. And some of it was through costume, and some of it was to come and get to be a barbarian for the weekend, or to throw knives, or like any of these things that release you from mundania, so to speak. I think that's one of the reasons we love tabletop games even more than we already do during this whole thing, because a lot of those means of expression are so different now. They take such a different form, and in a way sometimes they're not as fully encompassing. I don't know, what do you think about that in this weird pandemic world that we find ourselves in?
No, it's like you take your joy where you can find it in this weird hell world where evil is never punished. It's you yeah. And if it means that you are if you want to play a role-playing game where you can live out a fantasy of being, I'm actually really I'm a really cool, fun guy who likes to go out and do stuff, and not a giant nerd who sits and reads books. I'm wealthy, and I kill evil monsters, and I take gold, and I have a castle, and I'm like, this is what D&D is all about, man. It's how we create this fantasy so that we can actually so we can deal with this the current hellscape. And I feel like it's that's not a bad thing. I feel like in many ways, like I've given lectures about this sort of stuff. Like D&D is actually one of the it's actually there's this really great book called Legend of the Dungeon Master. It's all about Gary Gygax, the guy who started D&D. It's like the idea, though, is like storytelling as a game is actually a really, really old tradition. It's in many ways it's actually one of the oldest traditions. It's like one of the oldest games there are. It's kind of beautiful to sort of see that this whole new generation of kids, I shouldn't just say kids, because people of all ages are getting into it. Are embracing it. That's another thing about Ragnarok, is like you don't have to be an angry teen. My friend Knox, who's also he's Scabby Rooster on Twitch. He's a pretty well-known streamer. He's an amazing the trailer that you guys watched before, that was all him.
That's great, because they did ask me. They were like, "Did you do this?" And I was like, "Hell no, I'm good.
No,
I'm this good." That's amazing.
That's Knoxweiler Burf, who's Scabby Rooster here on Twitch and on all your friendly neighborhood social medias.
Stick around, because if you didn't see the trailer at the top, I know some of you have joined us throughout. I'll play it again at the end when we're getting ready to raid. So stick around. Yeah.
There's
Sorry.
Well, he was just like, you could actually play like, what if you were like, an old pensioner who was like, or a CEO who just friggin' he can't stand the grind anymore, and he wants to join. Totally. And one day the Ragnarskulls, these psychopomps that come to gather the worthy from the land of Mundania, they come for him, and he ends up being, creating an avatar. And I'm like, that's actually kind of beautiful. And he's like, right? I feel like there's all you need to do is just realize that your life sucks. What can you do? And except for fighting, evil in another dimension, which is exactly what we all should do, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think Trix in chat said it best when they said, "We play the fantasy game so we can experience what a long rest feels like." It's so true.
What a long rest. Is that a T-shirt? Because that friggin' needs to be a T-shirt. That is poetry.
Let's talk, because maybe I need to make a quote T-shirt for the merch, because I think it's pretty
no joke.
Yeah.
That's It's hilarious because we're dying inside.
It's hilarious because Hey, my leg.
One might even say, "We're dad inside." Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Wow. Oh my
I'm
god.
so sorry.
Juicy, of course, has pointed out that they love that this character is in a chunky kitten heel. It's true.
Well, I threw the heel in myself. I didn't know how you felt about it.
No, I love it. I think it's great. Because here's the thing. In a metal fantasy, I don't need things to be like functional. If that like it can be fashion over function. I mean, she's literally a fashion designer, so she's gonna wear the heel. If I, Anne Richmond, could wear heels, I would. But I'm like a pear on a toothpick, and I'm flat-footed, and I just fall over, and that's okay. That's okay too. But in my fantasy, my highest fantasy is to have an expendable income and wear heels, and that's okay.
That's what Dungeons and Dragons is for. Expendable income. Yes, I'm going to spend that on my horse, which I can also afford.
Which I can also afford and have in several colors. So one of my favorite things about our little community here is that, you know, we like to play D&D together. Obviously, people find each other on the Discord, but through my Patreon, I have an ongoing campaign. Right now it's in 5th edition, but I'm going to expand eventually to include different game systems and those options as well. But we do a one-shot a couple of times a month that people can sign up for, and I lead people through an adventure. And right now the 5th edition one is all connected, and that's been so great to help everybody in the community get to know each other, but connect through an ongoing story when not everybody can make every single session, right? But that feeling of connection of like going to a con or going to a Ren fair and being able to like express yourself creatively and share in that with people, I think is really, really important. And it's been my pleasure to be able to facilitate that through the Patreon. Thank you for linking, Juicy. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's been really,
nice job,
really
Juicy.
Great. Yeah.
Juicy Garland?
Again. Juicy. Yes.
God, they're amazing. Okay.
They're amazing in every way. You'll see more of her next week. But yeah, the biggest thing is that people come and share this space, right? Because I think a lot of people who make content or who make things for other people to enjoy, design games, write things, create products, is like people having something in their hand, or in my case, like just coming to stream and hanging out is the most important thing. So I have to say thank you guys so much for coming today and for sticking around. And like, it's really not hard to stick around when you get to look at something this flipping cool. Mum says the art is really coming along. Damn, it's gorgeous, Caleb. She say.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Your bow is looking a little generic. I think we need to fix this.
We need to metalize it.
Yeah. What can you're an amp lord. It needs to look more gearish.
Yeah,
so let me
I feel like it needs to be like more like compound bowy, maybe?
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. I need to grab some
more rivets on there.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Hoops McClure says she's out. And it's true. Maybe some bones, says Juicy Garland. That's another option.
Oh my God, what am I doing? We haven't even put any bones or moss or anything on here. Oh,
what
God.
am I doing?
I'm a fraud. I am so sorry.
One of my favorite moments
in
the office is when Pam says, "Yeah, that's right. I'm a middle class fraud." It's like one of the not like oft-referenced moments in that show, but it is my most favorite.
It is way right on brand. Yeah.
You're right, Ryan. I'm a middle-class fraud. Like, it's so good. A little bit tangential there, but hey.
No. I love it. Tangents are my bread and butter. I just ask any of my students.
Oh my God. She's so perfect in every way. It's fine. This is such a treat, I have to say. Now,
just so you know, in the land of Ragnarok, I feel like unicorns are kind of passé. They're probably just the derpiest of all derpy horses that just run around.
Sure.
There are, however, and they're very sacred to Shrika. So this might actually
that makes sense.
Play a role in it. There are metallicorn, which are exactly what you think they are. They're unicorns that are like giant cyborgs made out of metal.
Yes.
And yeah, and they
Yes.
they roam the wilds of Ragnarok in giant flaming herds. They have the most Lisa Frank of all flaming uh, of all the flaming mains. I mean, I feel like there you need to. Wait, I need to take you into the actual bestiary of Ragnarok itself, and just
Yeah.
let you explore because
I'm ready.
there are dragons there, but dragons in Ragnarok are kind of like pigeons. They suck. No, all they do is just like they just poop like sulfurous poop on people's cars.
Oh my
Um,
god.
and they flutter around. They're kind of a pain in the ass. They'll rip up your aerials and your antennas. They chew on shit. It's just they're kind of the worst. But there are other monsters and stuff like that are way more metal, and that I think you guys would enjoy as well. So if you are interested in learning more about things that the like of which I've been talking about here, just have a look at the Kickstarter. There are lots of different ways that we can explore things and screw things up. It's
There's
awesome.
also isn't there one of the later things in the Kickstarter? Isn't that like drawing your character art, or is it?
That
Is it
is.
drawing of one of the
It's one of the
gods?
very, very, very last uh, stretch goals.
Tiers. Which, so I'm just cheating the system here.
You kind of are, but that's all right.
It's incredible.
You are pretty great, and so we'll forgive you.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But you too could have this incredible experience, which I have to say is just, it's really awesome for me. It's not often that I get to come to my own stream and have an awesome show that I get to enjoy the same as the audience, which is just incredible.
Nice. Me too. Well, I've been enjoying this as well. This has been so much fun. Yeah. So if you want to, yeah, push us over into like $250,000, and we can, and I'll draw
yeah.
I'll draw your
Screw that.
giant. I'll draw your hot Mothman. How about that?
Hot Mothman, amazing. Fireflies in her hair that are on fire. Says surprise, easy, easy. I mean, I get it. I'm with you. That might have to be imagined or frozen fireflies. Oh my god, everyone is getting crazy.
You know I can do that. God.
So cool. I love that tool. I do background with that tool all the time.
It's good shit. I'm so sorry. Is this can I? I've been swearing.
You can. I have decided that swearing is pretty much okay because the book drops so many f-bombs.
I'm so sorry.
Like, no, I don't.
If you normally have a clean stream, then
I definitely don't. I definitely don't. But when I'm supporting somebody else's project, I usually I attempt to clean up my act. However, this project came dirty, so it's okay.
Yikes! Sorry about that.
No,
but yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
It came that way, and yeah, you don't have to apologize.
It was just born that way.
Normally, if I say Poops, just don't be a fucking dick about it, says Poops.
There you go.
It's true.
Thank you. Thanks, Poops.
And that is very much, by the way, the tone that the book is written in. So I really think, again, I know it's the hard sell. I get nothing from this, so I'm just saying that you should go check it out because I think it's genuinely cool. But I think you'll get a lot out of the book just because the vibe of reading through the rules is very conversational, and it really sells the way people talk in Ragnarok in like this very relaxed way that doesn't make you feel like delivering the metal is all about being the Metatron. Like, it's not.
No, it's literally like
that.
the tone of voice that I've employed in writing the book is sort of like, it sucks. It's literally, it sounds like it's not so much a rule book as much as it sounds like a friend of yours that has a bug up his ass. It's literally.
Yeah. He's got something he needs to tell you on his break. It's so true. Juicy says you
About
should see her
Ragnarok. You know
on,
what?
you should see her on Animal Crossing. She swears like a sailor, and it's very true.
Wait, who's
It's
this?
very true. My Juicy
Oh,
is referring
nice.
to my Animal Crossing streams where if I hit the rock wrong, like just a string of expletives come
Nice.
forth from my lips. It's how I was born. My parents sent me to boarding school. When I say sent me to boarding school, I put together. This is the most me thing you'll ever hear. I put together a slideshow being like, this is why you should send me to boarding school. I wish to go to this place and you should let me do it and pay for it. Hashtag Ravenclaw all over the place. So I put together this thing. I went to boarding school, and when I came back, they were like, what happened? Because there aren't parents to tell you to like, hey, stop that. So of course, you're good in class, but then when you leave class, everybody's just trying to outperform themselves or perform each other with how badass they can be in terms of their language, and it really, really changed me, opened me up to a whole new world of language.
I like it.
Yeah, dude, this is so sick.
I think you
I
mean
love
it's
how
metal.
It is metal. I also feel like I love how like luminous she is because of the way you've done all the like the shadow and light on it, and it really feels like smoke and mirror. Like it feels like her name, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited.
Cool. Thank you. All right, so hold on. Got little
baby firefly motes, dude.
Oh, I need to put some skulls up on here.
This is the most extra thing that has ever happened on this stream is the character creation of this smoke and mirror avatar. Oh my god, it's so cool. Yeah, the pose is really dynamic too, says Juicy, and I have to agree.
Oh, thank you,
Guys,
Juicy.
if you have more questions for Caleb, of course, you guys should feel free to. This is your chance to ask somebody who knows and who has been there from the beginning of the age, who might be able to answer your questions. So please.
Yes. Ask me about dinosaurs. What did they taste like? I will tell you. Back in the 80s, it was they were great.
Holy crap, you made that skull come out of nowhere.
That's my job.
How dare you? Who gave you the right to become an illusionist?
An illusionist, Michael.
So good.
A trick is something a whore does for money. Or cocaine. Sorry.
No, you're good. I love that show so much, and I love how that skull just changed so much about what this druidry kind of felt like. You know what I mean? Just that one detail of the fact that it's skulls. Good lord. What a time to be alive.
Anybody else think of that one TikTok video when she says that, like, ooh, what a time to be alive, and then suddenly it cuts to Kylo Ren and he's like, blow that piece of junk out of the sky. Nobody else remembers that?
Nobody else? TikTok moves very quickly, my friend.
Yeah, I guess
You really gotta see it, or you gotta get them while supplies last on TikTok.
Sorry.
No.
I just think it's
I refused to partake in TikTok for the longest time, but then the dark times happened, and now it is my job.
That was
for
before
my friends,
the dark times.
Before the Empire.
Before the TikTok.
So how did you get involved with Hunters?
Okay. You know what? That's a good story. I started. All right, jump into the Wayback Machine with me, will you?
I will.
Okay.
Here's the door.
Watch your head.
Oh.
Permanentes sentados, por favor.
Cuckoosh.
There is there's a kid's book that Wizards recently published called The ABCs of D&D.
Yes.
And it's I did the illustrations for it, and Ivan wrote it. And the
For anyone
reason,
who doesn't know, we're talking about Ivan Van Norman, who runs Hunter's Entertainment. Okay, continue.
yeah,
Sorry.
he's a big muckamuck in the tabletop role playing world. Anyway, the so he and but it started differently than that. What happened was it was 2015. I was creating an Inktober back in the day, and which is it's like a little art project that happens in October. Everybody tries to do one ink drawing in some way for the entire month of October per day, and it can be kind of an all-consuming feat. But I promised myself I was going to try something because I had a product in mind. I was going to do kids hanging out with Dungeons and Dragons monsters, just and I was going to do one for every letter of the alphabet.
Right.
So A is for Ankeg, B is for Beholder, that sort of thing. And I did one for every, for the first 26 days, and then I farted around a little bit for the last of it, and it was really, really fun. And then I put it on Reddit, and it blew up. And it was really great. Everybody was like, "Oh man, Wizards is going to sue the pants off of you." Wizards actually got a hold of me and said how much they liked it. And then Ivan contacted me and said, "Yeah, would you like to do a book with me? Because honestly, I was already going to do something like this. But would you like to do the cover for me?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" He's like, "Do you have a sketch for me?" I'm like, and I literally emailed him like the same day. I'm like this, and he's like, "Yeah, just like that. Actually, would you like to do the whole art? Would you like to do the whole book? That'd be great." I'm like, "Sure." And that's where the book came from. We self-published on Kickstarter, and we did well enough that Wizards actually decided, you know what, these kids hit something. So I say kids, but you know what I mean.
I do. And
they were
kids.
just, yeah, exactly. And they were just like, you know what, we'll buy this from you, and as long as you do another one called a sequel. And I was like, what are we going to do? I'm like, the 1, 2, 3s of D&D. And he's like, oh god, we'll do it. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, so that's the story.
I've read those and looked at them, and they're so cool. And it's so awesome how the internet can really bring the internet brings us all together, whether it's through TikToks or Reddit.
It really does. Well, the idea is that you can't just make things and just leave it in a void. You have to put it in front of an audience to see if it works.
Yeah, well, and that's something that we talk about a lot, is that like it's really easy to just kind of like make things in your corner, but if you're not brave enough to start sharing them, like you never know what could happen. You never know who could see or who could find you, and it does become professionally relevant. It took me a really long time when I was not working in the games and entertainment industry to realize that like all of these things I was doing as a hobby, as long as I had the metrics to show their success, like they still counted, like they were valid if I did. And which is not to say that you should be pressured to to do things in that way if you don't want to.
No. Do things organically the way you want.
But if you do want that and you just feel like, oh, I've never done it professionally, so I don't know how I would begin, like take a look at your portfolio and the things that you don't think matter. And I promise you that as long as you find a way to frame it in a way where people can see that you have, made a success of something or had an impact or engaged with people, it is a great foot in the door. So yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Your portfolio looks like it legitimately represents an entry into whatever sort of field you're interested in or that you want to enter into, then it's good. I mean, I feel like that's the only gauge. Don't compare it to anybody else. Don't compare it to anybody except your own work previously. Your portfolio should be a work in progress. It should be, it's not written in stone. It should be something that grows with you. if you have a and don't worry so much about like style or anything like that. Stuff like that changes as well. I know lots of artists that are kind of chameleons when it comes to their style. So it's just they've got lots of different ways of doing things, and they can make it work for them, and you can make it work for you too.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Thank you.
Man, the amount of shadow and light that's happening that like just keeps making more
builds up, doesn't it?
Is like kind of crazy. Thinking about how I do things, I'm reconsidering. I think that's one of the coolest things about watching people do live draws is like as long as they're willing to do it, because it could be kind of stressful, I think, for some people. But is just watching the growth of something over time, and the like, I'm gonna leave this for now and then come back to it, and leave it and come back, leave it and come back, and just how it grows. Like the shape of the hair was one of the first things you did.
Yep.
And now it's hair.
Now it's hair.
You illusionist, you.
That's it.
Look, he made a hat where there never was a hat. Because if I'm not Sondheiming it up on stream, like, what am I even doing?
What are you doing? It's exactly.
My life. Yeah, so I met Ivan because I was working with a tabletop games distribution company called GTS Distribution, and they had launched a new channel called Active Player Network, which was going to be their, we're going to make overviews and ads for games that feel like a YouTube channel. They were like, it'll be like Geek and Sundry, but just you. And I was like, okay, well, let's take a look at that sentence for a second, and realize that that's not realistic. But I did produce a series there that I was really, really excited about, which was called Player Character. And it was kind of a Humans of New York inspired interview series where I sat down with different creators in the tabletop space to talk to them about like why this community is important to them, why storytelling in this format is important to them, why it's formative and all that stuff, and kind of edit things together in a flow so all my questions were gone and it just sounded like a story, right? That's how I met Ivan, because he agreed to come and do one of those, and we just sort of like we vibed on our tabletop thoughts, and it was one of those cool moments for me. That entire con was really honestly very cool for me because I got to have a lot of those conversations with people that I've respected for a long time. I think I first knew of Ivan from that show not Revenge of the Nerds, King of the Nerds. And I really thought when they brought him on to do the design for the different challenges in future seasons, I was like, man, he's really smart. He really understands game design. I feel like we would vibe. And then we did, and I'm just I couldn't be more pleased to see, his success with Hunter's Entertainment. And of course, moving over to do all this stuff with Darrington.
It's been really, really cool.
He's just really killing it. And this has his stamp all over it. So if you've enjoyed things that you have seen Ivan make sure you're in on the ground floor here, because you won't want to miss it. And in case you're new and didn't hear it, this is really a multimedia experience. And the stretch goals, even though they've already made their main goal on the Kickstarter, the stretch goals are going to make it even more multimedia. Maxi multimedia, if you will.
Maxim Mega Multimedia. That's my next Ragnarock character.
Amazing. Dude, this bow is getting barbed. I love the screaming skull on the front of it.
Well, it's got to be it's the sonic weapon, right? So it's got to have.
Oh, it's real good. It's real good.
Oh, it's real
10
good.
10 out of 10.
Oh, nice. 10 out of 10. Would scream again.
10 out of 10. Screaming skull bows agree that this is great. There's something weirdly about the bow. what am I trying to say? Mad Max about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
it
love
does
that.
look a little post-apocalyptic.
Who am I? I'm looking at this character and I'm like, yeah, that is absolutely what I said. It is the most extra version of everything I like. So here we are. What's up, Stabby? How are you, my friend? We're finishing up our stream for character creation in Gods of Metal Ragnarok. That's the only way you can say it. I don't think you can say Gods of Metal Ragnarok like casually. It's not really
If you do,
a casual title.
you need to rethink things.
You need to rethink how metal you could potentially be if you actually worked at it. God. Dude. I am the luckiest girl at the ball right now.
All right. Oh, wait. Okay. I need tattoos.
Oh, right. Why am I like this?
What? Why are you like this?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Seriously.
The tattoos can be implied if you feel like that's too much.
Describe your character again. The most what of what? The most extra of what?
Extra
What was
of,
it?
of extra.
There you go.
I believe
So
the term was.
Gosh. Exactly. Perfect.
Okay. Wild metal.
Wild metal. So there you go.
You'll be caught up in the wild metal. Wild
Gee.
metal.
I'm so glad I'm here.
I'm
Good
so
shit.
glad you're here too. No, she doesn't need a sleeve. The whole point is that she has one sleeve and doesn't have the other sleeve. I don't know where the piercings would go, Murder. I guess on an ear you could pierce, sure. Oh,
I
yeah,
got one.
Yeah, she's got... Dude. Sick! I get so excited. Oh, this is everything. The most metal elven bullshit that has ever happened.
Metelvin.
Metelvin.
No, that sounds like a toy company. Never mind.
It is really interesting because I absolutely thought that I was going to be like, I'm going to be a shredder and I'm going to be, you know, the lead guitar. And that was just not who I wanted to make when I read all of the things you could kind of be and espouse. The idea that you could be a bard druid mix and that it would make sense was just everything I've ever wanted to be.
Yes. All right, hold on a second. I need to look up some stuff. Okay, well, obviously she needs like a chest plate with chest bit with like a skull.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe like
What a time to be like,
flames.
when in doubt, skull.
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, you mean the sleeve tattoo? I'm so stupid. That is not what I thought you meant, surprise. That makes
Oh my
all the sense
God.
in the world. Sylvan metal. Oh my God, that's so much better than wild metal. God, who are we? We are the future. We are the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yep.
Holy poopy.
We are the kings. We are the princes of the universe.
It's true. It really is. Oh my God. Caleb, this is just, it's just really
It's a lot.
the best
I know.
Thursday. The best Thursday that's ever happened. My favorite thing about her is how she doesn't need to show you how cool she is. She just is that cool.
That's
Wait,
it.
I love that, what you just did. The, like, cheekies. Cheeky tattoos. I'm here. I live for this. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to put this character in the game next week. Just as, like, someone they meet that's cool. See you, Chiron. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out today. Good night. Thanks for bringing your raid by friend.
I have to cut this a little short in a minute here because I need to give my beautiful family some dinner.
You should, because listen, we have gone on a journey today, Caleb, and I really appreciate your time.
It has been a ball. I've been the belle of the ball. Well, actually, no, you're the belle of the ball, but the idea is that
I think we're both at the ball. There's a dance card. We have done some dances, and it's been an all-around great time. Let me, while you're finishing up, let me kind of wind things down here in general. Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. It means the world that your interest was piqued by coming to see a little bit of an entry into the world of Gods of Metal, Ragnarock. If you are interested... Are you guys ready to Ragnarock? Check out the Kickstarter, guys. Exclamation point Kickstarter in chat will give you a link that you can follow to get your hands on a copy of this. And I believe the easiest way to get it is the PDF, and it's at like $20. I believe is what it costs us to get the PDF.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
If you want a more comprehensive overview of the world / game mechanics, there will be a new video on my YouTube channel next Wednesday, and Thursday, the day after, we will be primed by then because I will be doing a Gods of Metal Ragnarok playthrough on this channel at 6 p.m. Eastern. Put it on your calendars. Don't miss it. The cast is amazing. I've already talked a little bit about who it's going to be in the cast, but everything will go out on the Discord first tomorrow. So if you're not in our Discord community, you should be. Go ahead and type exclamation point Discord to join us there for the ride. It is going to be awesome, and you should follow my socials as well to see that announcement go out. Caleb, thank you so much. Not only for sharing the wealth of your knowledge, because you've been there from its inception. You've read the Latin, so to speak, on this game. So being able to, bounce things off of you and really hear in more depth, like what the feeling of all of these different tones are and the gods and, the choices you can make to have the most metal character of your dreams. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today, as well as your art.
Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say. And thank you so much for everybody in chat for sticking around. This has been just a treat. Thank you.
Of course. And Caleb's social is on the stream. It is on Twitter at CalebIsDrawing. It couldn't be easier to find him. So please go give him a follow so you can keep up with his adventures. In the meantime,
I need to make it harder to find me, actually.
You need to make it harder to find. You're like, actually, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think, Caleb, would it be all right if would you be able to send me a picture of this so we can throw the final up on
Please
the,
do.
up on the
Yes.
internet?
Not only will I do that, but I will send you a video of the creation of said picture.
That's so cool! Ah! Okay, well, that's fine. I have neutral feelings about it, and I didn't stream. But that's the greatest thing ever. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So yeah, guys, get out there, live your quest life. We're gonna find somebody to raid here. Please show them the love of the most metal of baby bards. Thank you so much. I'm gonna run that trailer one last time for y'all, and we will get on the move. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Gather, my chosen, and heed the call to a saga of adventure, a song to end all. Forged from the cord, two worlds given birth, one made of awesome, the other no worth. Mutilated, abused, the cord was unstrung. When their mirror was shaped, a gray waste begun. its fate was unbound. A land of pure metal, the glorious sound. Rise, find your glory. Rise and be free upon the fields of Ragnarok to victory. The gods of metal cry out, demanding blood, sweat, and fear. Seek treasure, find glory, pay tribute for all to hear. Faith must be proven in the pits of these lands. Your songs must rise above as the chosen form bands. Immortality awaits those avatars who believe. With blade, steel, and destiny, what tales shall you weave? Rise, shed your shackles, rise and be free. Deep in the halls of Ragnarok, ascend to victory! Ragnarok